Hello everybody, welcome back to Jordan Talks Football. Konate set to join Real Madrid after leaving Liverpool on a free. Is this becoming a problem for Liverpool? These players that seem to be leaving on frees or getting tempted away by Real Madrid. It's happened quite a few times over the past 10 years or so. And we have seen some of our bigger players being poached by Real Madrid particularly, and some other big clubs like Barcelona, as we have seen over the past 10 or 15 years. But these players leaving Liverpool on a free, I do feel like this is becoming a bit of an issue for Liverpool Football Club. Obviously not getting any revenue for our top players leaving. I am a Liverpool fan myself, and it does seem to be a little bit of a concern that these players seem to be just leaving on frees and then getting poached up by Real Madrid or tapped up by them beforehand. Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously the biggest recent example of this, basically getting tapped up by Real Madrid, running his contract down, and then turning up at Real Madrid speaking perfect Spanish like he'd been preparing to do this for a while. And in reality, it looks as though Konate did actually try and receive some kind of agreement with Liverpool, but supposedly couldn't agree it. And now it turns out that, you know, with the links of Real Madrid last season, it looks as though he may end up going there after all. Looking like, according to quite a few journalists, that Konate could end up at Real Madrid and Jose Mourinho wants him there. But let me know your thoughts on this one, because honestly, this is something that's been bothering me for a while now, with Liverpool being probably one of the biggest clubs in the world, and Real Madrid also fairly in that category as well. It does seem as though there is a bit of a situation where players tend to be leaving Liverpool and going to Real Madrid more often than not, or getting their heads turned by Real Madrid for whatever reason. And in general, Liverpool losing a lot of players on a free, and it is something I think that is quite a large issue for Liverpool. Not getting transfer fees for our big players before their contracts expire has been a big problem for Liverpool over the past 5 years or so. It seems to keep happening. We've lost Salah, Trent, Robertson, Konate. They're just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head over the past few seasons. And I'm sure there have been more of them as well. I think Matip as well, but I think he retired. But there are quite a few players recently that Liverpool haven't sold. They've just let them run their contracts down and they've not got a fee for them. And then they've either gone to Real Madrid and got tapped up by them if they're a particularly good player, or something else along those lines has happened. But like I said, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about this? Konate going to Real Madrid, obviously I think a lot of people probably saw this one potentially coming, especially with him leaving Liverpool on a free. Real Madrid looking like they probably need centre-backs. They've got a new manager in Jose Mourinho who probably wants to reinforce the centre-back area. With their defence not looking as good as it usually has been, and no trophies last season as well, I think the centre-back area is probably one of the areas that they will strengthen. And as we know, Real Madrid have got a massive tendency of tapping up players on free transfers, waiting for them to run their contracts down and then bringing them to Madrid on a free and giving them a massive wage package instead of, you know, using the money to buy them and giving them less wages. It's been a tactic of Real Madrid since the beginning of time, really. And now Konate looks like he's the next person on the list to go there. And he's going to join Trent there by the looks of things, amongst a myriad of other players that have left on frees. And overall right now, I think this is probably a good move for Konate. I'm quite pleased for him in a way. But I think in reality, it was probably a good move for Liverpool as well, not re-signing him. Because if I'm being completely honest, he was not very good last season for Liverpool. And even though he probably would have been better under a new manager, with less of a malaise over Liverpool in general, Liverpool are probably going to be better next year under Iraola with a nicer brand of football. And probably just in general, more tactics and cohesion. I think in reality, that this move for Konate is probably the right one for all parties. Like I was saying in last videos that I did last year, Konate was really quite a weak link for Liverpool for a while, making lots of mistakes leading to goals. What do they call it? Errors leading to goals or something like that. The official stat was pretty damn high for Konate. Even Slot last year said Konate was a bit too much at the scene of the crime in terms of the mistakes that led to goals. And Liverpool in general, our defence was really poor last season. And I think Konate was a large part of that. I think he did become better towards the end of the season. But at the start of the season, pretty much every game he would give a goal away. It was like starting every game 1-0 down, which is what I used to say to my dad before we'd watch the games. And then lo and behold, we'd concede a goal because of an error by Konate, either jumping into midfield, missing a ball, or just in general being out of position or missing a runner or something like that. He seemed bang out of sorts last season and probably was I would say, not deserving of the 250 grand a week that he was asking for, probably. Unfortunately, Liverpool put themselves in a bit of a spicy position where they gave Gakpo 250k a week and Gravenberch 250k a week. So then Konate asking for that as well in his opinion, probably seems pretty reasonable. But in reality, I don't think any of these players are probably worth that amount. Gravenberch and Gakpo, 150k a week maximum in terms of their output and contribution, in my opinion. And I think Konate, off the back of the amount of contribution he made last season, especially in a negative way, I couldn't imagine giving him anything close to 250k and it being worth it, especially with Van Dijk on like 350k. But in reality, I think this is, like I said, a good move for all parties. I'm happy for Konate. Looks like he's going to Real Madrid. But do Liverpool have a big problem with these free transfers? In my opinion, it does seem as though we have got a bit of an issue with it that we need to sort. We've got to start selling our players and getting some money returned for them when they go into their final year of their contract. Because right now, I think it's becoming a bit of an issue. And this is yet another player from Liverpool that has gone to Real Madrid on a free in the past 10 or so years. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I appreciate you watching. Do you think this is a problem for Liverpool? Do you think this is a good move for Konate and all parties? And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.